You have probably heard of nitric oxide, but have you heard of nitric oxide based skincare? Up until a couple of months ago, I hadn't. But suddenly it seemed my social media was being bombarded with ads of nitric oxide based skincare. So, being the skincare junkie I ordered some. And I have been using it for about 3 months now. In today's video, I will share my experience with using nitric oxide based skincare with you, and we will also take a closer look at why you might want to use nitric oxide on your skin. But first of all, just in case you are not familiar with nitric oxide is a key messenger molecule in the cardiovascular system that works as a vasodilator, signaling blood vessels to relax and expand, while increasing blood flow and oxygenation. Nitric oxide is also involved in nervous system signaling and immune responses, and it has been shown to be involved in myoblast fusion, which is a process for muscle repair. It is naturally produced by our bodies. However, unfortunately, as with so many things, as we age, production of nitric oxide declines with age. By the time we reach 50 years of age, studies have shown that we only produce about half or less of the nitric oxide we did at age 20. There's also a difference when it comes to gender. By 50, men produce about 50% of the nitric oxide they did in their 20s, versus us women by age 50 produce about 35% of the nitric oxide we did in our 20s. Yet our ability to produce and generate nitric oxide within the body is a key element of a healthy body. Numerous studies have shown that without proper levels of nitric oxide in the body, it does not heal properly. Other studies suggest that nitric oxide is a determinant of human longevity and health span. So nitric oxide production is extremely important. And while our body's production declines, luckily, there are some things we can do to maintain optimal levels of nitric oxide as we age. We can first of all support nitric oxide production with diet by eating foods high in nitrates and the amino acid L-arginine. Beets and beetroot juice are known to be high in nitrates, which can be converted into nitric oxide. Nuts and seeds, such as walnuts, Brazil nuts, and almonds, contain high levels of L-arginine and L-citrulline, two amino acids involved in nitric oxide synthesis. Additionally, garlic may increase nitric oxide availability and support proper endothelial function. By eating a diet high in these foods, we can naturally support nitric oxide levels. Another thing we can do to naturally support nitric oxide levels is to exercise. Physical exercise is the most potent stimulator of nitric oxide production. And thirdly, we could opt to supplement. Nitric oxide supplements are quite popular, especially in the athletic and fitness communities. However, experts note that the research on their effectiveness is mixed. Now, there are a couple of other things which are said to help maintain optimal nitric oxide levels. One of them being focusing on oral hygiene, because a healthy oral microbiome can then help convert dietary nitrates into nitric oxide. Also, chronic stress is known to lower nitric oxide. So, engaging in stress-relieving activities such as yoga and meditation may help to maintain optimal nitric oxide levels. So, at this point, you may be convinced of the importance of maintaining proper nitric oxide levels in the body. But you may still be wondering what nitric oxide has to do with the skin. All skin cells actually express nitric oxide synthase, or NOS, the enzyme responsible for nitric oxide production. This enzyme activity is important for various skin functions, including microcirculation, which supports nutrient and oxygen delivery to skin tissues. Nitric oxide also aids in forming a protective barrier, enhancing antimicrobial defense and regulating erythema or redness in response to UV exposure. Now, since nitric oxide levels decline with age, these protective and reparative processes may become less efficient. Reduced nitric oxide can lead to impaired blood flow, a weaker skin barrier, increased susceptibility to infection, and diminished ability to recover from UV exposure. So, therefore, maintaining adequate nitric oxide levels may also be beneficial for skin health. But what about applying nitric oxide topically to the skin? How can we possibly benefit from that? Well, first off, since nitric oxide increases vascularity, it is said to be a great vehicle to enhance absorption of any other skincare product applied after. On top of that, this vasodilation also supports the transport of oxygen, nutrients, and immune cells to the skin, which can aid in the repair of skin cells. So topical nitric oxide enhances blood flow, and with that, nutrient delivery. And it can help any other skincare product applied after to penetrate just a bit deeper. But topical nitric oxide is also said to help support collagen production. Studies suggest that nitric oxide can stimulate fibroblast activity, which may promote collagen synthesis. Now, this increased fibroblast activity, and with it, a possible increase in collagen synthesis, could translate to visible skin improvements, as this 2020 pilot study analyzing the effects of topical nitric oxide on the skin actually shows. For this particular study, 20 females and 5 males, ages 32 to 81, applied a nitric oxide activating serum twice daily for 12 weeks. After 12 weeks, there was a significant decrease in fine lines and wrinkles, as well as hyperpigmentation, and an increase in hydration. Another paper on the effects of topical nitric oxide on the skin showed that topical nitric oxide reduced subclinical inflammation and was therefore able to reduce active acne by 60 to 70% after 12 to 16 weeks of use, and significantly improve acne scarring over 12 to 18 months of use. Now, since topical nitric oxide increases vascularity, is anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial, and increases collagen synthesis, it is no surprise that it can help accelerate wound healing. In fact, the use of topical nitric oxide has shown to be quite beneficial in the treatment of chronic wounds, such as diabetic foot ulcers. So again, topical nitric oxide may enhance blood flow, and with that, nutrient delivery. Because it increases vascularity, it can help any other skincare product applied after to penetrate just a bit deeper. It is said to help with fibroblast and collagen production, be anti-inflammatory, and help with wound healing. And lastly, topical nitric oxide may also help protect against environmental damage, such as pollution and UV radiation, by acting as an antioxidant, and may therefore help prevent premature aging caused by these factors. So these are the supposed benefits of topical nitric oxide. As I mentioned in the intro, I have been using nitric oxide-based skincare for the past 3 months. For the past 3 months, I have been using this serum right here called Nitric Oxide Activating Serum. This particular serum comes in 2 chambers, and the reason this comes in 2 chambers, the company says, is to prevent premature reaction and instability, ensuring the nitric oxide is generated on the skin's surface at the moment of mixing for optimal absorption and delivery. There are other nitric oxide containing skincare products available on the market. I've only tried this particular one, and the reason I wanted to try this particular one is that, first of all, the list of ingredients was quite limited. This only contains water, ascorbic acid or vitamin C, polysorbate 20, sodium nitrate, vitamin E, a thickening compound I can't pronounce, a preservative I also can't pronounce, benzyl alcohol, and antioxidants. Secondly, the founder of this company, Dr. Nathan Bryan, has been involved in nitric oxide research for the past 18 years and has made several discoveries in the field. His serum is actually the one that was used in some of these studies I shared with you earlier. I would actually love to have Dr. Bryan on my channel. If that is something you're interested in, please let me know down below. But I purchased this serum with my own money, and I have repurchased it with my own money. So let's talk about my experience with using topical nitric oxide, or more specifically, with using this particular serum. So we went over all the supposed benefits of topical nitric oxide, such as, again, enhanced blood flow, and with that, enhanced nutrient delivery, better absorption of any skincare product applied after, increased collagen and fibroblast production, and with that, a reduction in fine lines and wrinkles, increased wound healing and decreased inflammation, and lastly, increased environmental protection. Now, honestly, many of these things are very hard, if not impossible, to detect with the naked eye. I can tell you that since using this, I have had a reduction in fine lines and wrinkles, or I have had better environmental protection. What I can tell you is that since using this, my skin has been less reactive. I have quite reactive skin, and I try many different skincare products for this channel. So very often I will try a new skincare product, and I usually will try just one product at a time. So after using this for about 4 weeks, I tried a new skincare product, and within 5 days, my skin was on fire. My skin barrier was not very happy. Now, this has happened to me before, and usually when that happens, I have to stop all actives and just go back to the basics for about a week or so. This time, I stopped the skincare product, which caused my skin to be on fire. But I didn't change anything else. I did not stop using actives, including ascorbic acid, my tretinoin, and even glycolic acid. But morning and night, I applied this. And within 12 hours, my skin was not reactive anymore. It went back to baseline, which was quite impressive. Because like I said, usually when that happens, when my skin is unhappy like it was, it takes about a week to get back to normal, and that is without any actives. So I do credit my skin bouncing back so quickly to this serum because I didn't change anything else. So I would definitely say, for me personally, this serum has helped with inflammation, has helped make my skin less reactive. But that's really all I can tell you so far from using topical nitric oxide. I did also have a pimple the other day, which happens here or there. And I have to say, the pimple, I didn't touch it. I was very proud of myself. The pimple went away within a few days, and it didn't leave any post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So that could also be because of using the serum. It could be coincidence. Who knows? Now, really briefly, the way I have been using this serum is morning and night, I apply it to clean skin. So it is the first thing I put on my skin. And then I let it sit for about a minute or so, which is what the company suggests. Since nitric oxide can increase vasodilation, it is normal to turn a bit pink on application. Some days I do, some days I don't. On the days I do, it goes away really quickly. So I let this sit for a minute or so, and then I go on with my regular skincare routine. So I use this with my L-ascorbic acid, my tretinoin, and even my alpha hydroxy acids. To my understanding, there are no contraindications using topical nitric oxide with any other skincare ingredients, aside from, I believe, benzoyl peroxide. But that would be a great question for Dr. Bryan. And I have read that combining topical nitric oxide with tretinoin can cause irritation. Personally, I have not experienced that. But if you have somewhat sensitive skin, you might want to be careful combining the two. The serum does feel quite hydrating and it does give my skin a nice glow. But aside from this helping my skin to be a bit less reactive, giving it a nice glow, and possibly helping to speed up the healing of the rather big pimple I had, I can tell you that I've seen a huge difference from using topical nitric oxide. Regardless, I will continue to use this and I will continue to keep you posted. I would love to know, have you used topical nitric oxide? If so, which brand or which product, and what was your experience? Please let us know down below. Any questions or comments? Of course, please leave them down below. Always love to hear from you. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, bye.